Let me ask the test. So now, Naomi,
No,
the last question after you miss the whole thing. Why I give you a 0? Think about it. Why I give you a 0 on that one? On my perspective, if you're a teacher.
I don't remember the last one.
the
essay.
The last is the essays.
I know. What are you talking about? The last question?
Yeah,
The very last
yeah.
question, or
Yeah.
all of them?
Huh?
No, he's just talking
This
about
last
the
question. Yeah, the essay.
Probably because I answered it wrong.
Yeah, you seem to know. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. I was just...
Yeah, feel free to talk. So this is the things you need to learn. So yeah, you learn through your failures, right? Through
Right.
experiences. So you don't invade the problem. It's actually a good student said, "Oh, what I did wrong here? What's the reason?" Right? So it's a mindset thing. If you're going to really serious with learning anything, you're not invade the things stumble you, the things cause you trouble. You know, you need to ask people, okay, why you do that? What the test really the purpose for? Am I right? So what's the score? Why I have a 0 score on this one? Why? Why is a good question. And you learn those good questions as serious questions. And most you're not going to make the same mistake, but you learn. What if you're a teacher? You're going to teach students. Students do these things. What your standard going to be? How are you going to make score for them? It's totally change the picture, right? So,
Right.
I mean, you're going to be a teacher, right? You're going to be a parent, right? You're going to be a manager, right? Somebody, you assign a task, you expect a certain thing to be studied, to be answered, to give you a result. It turned out, oh, he's talking about let's study the park in the west on the east side. And this guy said, oh, I just walk around the garden in the east. It's pretty good, have a lot of birds, So, and the guy said, well, that's not useful for me. So, the information, who told you to go there? So he said, oh, I didn't hear you right. You wrote the notes. I didn't really pay attention to write it and not to read it. So the person said, I spent 3 days trying to study that garden. And I really working very hard. And the people who give you the assignment was, I don't know what to say, you my friend. So, here's my note. So, I didn't tell you to do that. And whatever you study there, it's useless for me to try to do something with this garden. So this is very, very important for people to learn to really hear correctly. You may think that's a small deal, but not when you're tested. When the moment of people try to see how you respond to their questions, right? So don't be tensed up, okay? So in the working place, in the family, in our setting, we learn those lessons, right? So, but if the parents or me try to tell you, oh, that doesn't matter, it just happened. Everybody make mistakes. You're gonna face a society now, or face a solid relationships, right? So now I'm going to serve your garden. What if you're going to be a commander of an army or investor of a business? Certain people make mistakes, right? They, buy bonds, for example, buy stocks, right? They're very short, numbers, right? So, I mean, so the word, what they call it, like 2 numbers, right? Like CD bags, like a CD, whatever. So we're short on the list, right? So, if your dad tell you to buy 1 million shares, on the Disney, like let's say UN, okay? So he said, oh, he's writing, it's MM. Okay, you found out the company. MM, so you bring back to the report, said, Dad, your handwriting really, I'm just sleeping off. And that's, Well, young lady, there's no story. All right, so you bought $1 million shares. What your dad would say, so suppose the stock suddenly lost value, you lost everything. What are you going to say? That's just innocent mistake. It's a very consequential mistake. Am I? Sounds very simple, but it's not simple. Now, how you do that? And it's important. The first thing you need to know is not to buy $1 candy. That it doesn't matter for me to do whatsoever. It's $1 million for me to invest. I cannot just okay, it's $1, doesn't matter. Okay, it's my dad, doesn't matter. It's $1 million investment. You better get everything done properly and thinking through, get every detail right. Is this a harsh lesson or is real basic life skills? Right? You don't need even God to tell you to do this right? You need to be successful, you need to be solid, you need to be responsible. And you need to learn those basics. Where it started, my point is, Naomi, have you worked with people? You tell them what to do, they just like fly over the head. You have a simple expectations that come back to you. I don't really think you should require me on that. You can't ask too much about me. Would you like to work with people on long terms? If you're a manager or somebody, even a friend who works with those people, you have to tell them, my friend, that's not going to cut for this job, So, listen, I want to help you. I want to spend as much time for you. But your attitudes, your standard applied to this job is a shady one, So, now, where it started? All started somebody wise enough and know well enough or educated young mind. Start with the small things. Right? You're going to lose $1 million, then learn the lesson, or want to start with a test. The same lesson. Now, if you learned to do this, do you going to stumble over those fears? Your dad was not a wise man, right? So let's see all of you together. Who will set out to actually think about it, to carry out that notes? Your dad love you each other, respect each other. You don't ever think you're gonna do wrong with it. But he got a serious task, and he wanted someone to really get his authority carried out in accountability. Now, in young people's lives, one of the great lessons to learn is accountability. Be responsible for something. Now, book will not teach you that. Information will not teach you that, right? So, good time, entertaining each other, have fun time, it's good. But there's something you have to do together, right? So, you build a wall together. Somebody's gonna lay the wall, You lay this wall, he just, boom, the other one. Okay, what a waste of time, right? Can you build a house with such a guy? Especially he said, I don't need to parallel my wall with you. I don't need to worry about how height, how direction to go. By the way, you never told me that. Well, interesting. That's a foolish idea. If you lay a wall, you know what a wall requires, right? Elijah, do you lay a wall, don't ask where it goes? How high it is? What kind of material it is? That's a basic concept of laying the wall. The basic requirement. I'm talking too much. Basic requirement. It's very important. I will zero you in. You want to teach you a serious lesson. Well, sometimes people give us a grace. Life gives us a second chance, a third chance, 77 chance God gave to us. He give all chances. But is that really pleasing to Him? Is that really He wants? Is that really you want when you give people a chance again and improve themselves? But what he desires is that you can move on with those basic elements and move on to the next, right? So I will teach you 100 times 1 plus n equals 2. I mean, with basics, right? But what I want to teach you is 10 multiplied 10 equals 100. I want to get there with you, but I can spend endless time trying to say I'm patient with you. I don't want you can afford to make mistakes. But can we move on when plus equals 2? When 1 plus 1 continue to be a struggle. The basics of life is you build a building blocks. Now, those things are more than information. They are a method of handling things. Young people said, that too much, asks me, really is too much? Or it's actually a we how you excel. Yeah, so, and when somebody asks you to pay attention to those basics, not something, hey, good to have it, grab it down, right? Pull the star down from me, dig up diamond out of the earth, whatever, so it's not a difficult thing to do. It's very simple things 80% people should excel in it. How many people? 80% will excel in it. And we don't do it in basics. We ask life or relationship or whatever, said, oh, I'm doing fine, I'm doing good. Then when the real test comes, are you going to succeed or fail? It seems that your young mind really not good at learning. This thing's really exciting to you. It should be very, very much more exciting than have a game going on, have a movie going on. That's when you truly settle down, want to learn. That's when you make stride in learning, rather than lost opportunity for you to excel in life. I mean, you have the great potential, great talents, but the mind is not disciplined. The attitude is not disciplined. Then what have you? Who continue to stumble, continue to lost, opportunities, lost things that you cannot move on, right? So, Esther, thinking about this, if you're going to plant a garden, and spring comes, you're gonna sow the seed, right? So, yeah, do due diligence, get the weeds out, and sow the seed. Can you do that in wintertime? Can you do that in summertime?
Plant the seeds?
Yeah, plant the seed. What if you don't plant the seed in springtime? Would you expect the flower gonna come out of the garden?
Probably not.
Probably not. So your young life is in the garden. The time you have right now is the springtime. Okay? If you don't sow into your life some solid attitudes, or your parents not capable to impart that to whoever is not able to impart that to you, then they're missing on you. I mean, you don't want them to have that to be a hindrance for you, whether it be in society, friends, or even your parents. Actually, in particular your parents. Because the parents hold a very sometimes loose standard towards ourselves. Others might don't approve or agree. Life don't agree with it, right? So, do you want the parents come along and say, your springtime is supposed to plant the seed, get rid of the weeds, and said, oh, you can sleep another night, or you can, you can wait for May or June, my lovely little children, so then, or you want the children, a parent said, did you do that? What about the weeds? What do you do with these weeds? What do you do with the field? Am I? Young mind will resist that. Now you want to have a beautiful garden to enjoy. You have big fruits, can share with your neighbors. And that's where it started. Am I? And would the parents or you have a good time in planting a good garden if nobody really pay attention to what required for a fruitful, beautiful garden start with? I mean, we go through the motions. You know, we go through the seasons. We even tell people we have a garden, but it's full of weeds, and nothing's planted properly or over season. And you do the same thing. Which one you want in your life? Which kind of parents you want? Which kind of teacher you want? It's up to us. My hope is you be a wise student, a good gardener. I want to do everything I can to help you to have a good garden. At least know the standard. I might lead the path for you to do that. Esther, can you pray for us?
Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this time that we get to spend and Emmanuel teaches us. I pray that you would bless his life, and I thank you for him. Pray that we would continue to keep our minds open to hear from you and to follow your ways. I pray that you would bless this time, and I pray this in your name. Amen.
Okay, Esther, on the test, what do you think?
I actually didn't. Our dad was just talking to us about it. We didn't really get to look at what we did. Like, he didn't tell us the
didn't
story.
test. I didn't try to tell you the story.
Oh.
If it's okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Just pay me $5 a minute.
$5 per minute.
Yeah. That's a good joke, right? So
Yeah, it's a good one.
you can move that there. Move that there. Yeah. Naomi.
Yeah, I do want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more about that question.
This-
Because
Yeah.
I mean, when I read, it, I was like,
I should
my
have shared that with you. Let me share that with you guys right now. So I forgot to share that with you guys. It's my fault. Okay, let's see. Study. Okay, Naomi, why am I spending time in this way with you guys? What do you think I'm trying to accomplish here? To make you feel bad?
No.
Okay, it's obviously not. So what I'm trying to accomplish here?
Discipline.
Huh?
Discipline and everything.
Part of his discipline. Discipline is getting somewhere. Then we can say discipline, right? So something imparted. So what I'm trying to accomplish here? You thinking about it? Let me give you some comment on why I engage conversation, make the things happen as it happened. Am I upset with you? No, I'm not upset with you. Not at all. Is your test make me feel bad, or make you feel bad, make me feel bad? No, actually, I laugh over it. It's like when I was young, so I'm a sensitive child, so worse than you guys for sure. I don't even care test, so. But here we are. I can't do that with you. My mistake in my youth is not reason for me to keep you lost the opportunity to impart certain things I think I should have when I was young. So if I live my life, relive my life, opportunity for me, I will try to live differently. So making sense to you? Yeah. So, Esther, do you have any thoughts on what I shared? Freely, don't feel opposite. The point of the test exactly bring out to this conversation, so it's a good thing. So, what do you think? Any comments?
I don't know that I can think of right now.
Yeah, no. Okay, let's gonna start with. I don't think Benjamin takes the test. It has no contest. So let me ask Elijah. Elijah, what do you think?
I think it's good that we're doing the tests because we obviously aren't doing too well on them. So it's good that we're doing them because we will get some more discipline in those practices of schooling, and also embedding some mindsets in taking things seriously and pursuing and putting work into something. And I hope that we can begin to progress better at those things. So it's definitely good practice for schooling and life.
Yeah. I want to ask you something. Is you think I'm too hard on you guys with the test?
No.
Okay. I'm just talking. Okay. I don't want to carry that as if I'm a taskmaster, a bad tempered teacher for you guys. But it is a test. We've got
We
to.
need some, we need some discipline.
We need some discipline. You think so?
Yeah.
Why? That's a good question.
Don't do them that often. But yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? Tell me why you need discipline. Seriously. I know it's very uncomfortable for young people, for the society, but it's very beneficial for real learning, right? So, make sense to you? So, Naomi, give me some input on this. This is more important to me than teach you this whole book. True. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. I don't think you guys needed all this foolish information to remember everything, Not the point. The point is that, hey, there's a standard. There's something, you want to learn something, be solid with it, So, and the standard, we don't like the standard, that's the point. Well, maybe standard never like us, so right. I'm joking. Who like to be tested? Volunteer, who like to be tested?
I don't.
I do.
You do?
You do like
Oh, well, we got a weirdo here. So.
I like to test my skills. I
You test
I like
skill?
to test because I like seeing how I'm doing.
Yes, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to know where you're at.
I hate tests, I tell you.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I hate to do the classes. I hate people talk to me. This is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate it. Not hate it in a sense, outwardly, aggressively, bad. So I don't like.
Just you don't prefer it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Don't necessarily enjoy it, So I want to see the ants, man.
The what?
The gnats move their home, So
Ants move down.
ants. I wanted to.
Nature.
Yeah, exactly. Do something lighthearted, So it doesn't require much. But then I got to work. Then I had to go to college, So okay. Oh, you're lucky or not, doesn't matter anymore, right? Making sense here?
Yeah.
You have to beat the test, Yeah. Fortunately, I learned a little bit, so I'm good with testing, so I'm really good testing. A test is art. You got to study it. How people test you. Then you can meet the test. But certain students like you, you should not test me in this way. Huh? Right? In the back head, we said, I don't want like this way to be tested. I only like to test the way I want to be tested. Well, that's exactly the point. I want to correct this point. You be tested. Do you say, I like to be tested in the way I want to be tested? Can you do that? First, we don't like to be tested to begin with. So, the second, test means you subject to some standard or discipline others imposed upon you. Right? So, if I'm good at something, surely I want to be tested. If I'm for sure something, surely I don't want to be tested because I know I'm not good at it. But when someone come around in a class setting or in a group setting, said that's the standard, let's everybody go through the standard of those tests. I mean, different people have different way to respond to that. Elijah, tell me what different response do you think will be when some, a teacher administer test like what I do, different people, how they respond to it?
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, are they gonna respond to just don't like it, walk away, don't do anything, or some will work hard on it? There's a difference, right? So,
Yeah, I guess it would depend on the person, though.
Different person, exactly. Now, how many people will say, okay, teacher, why you test me this way?
Not very many. Probably none.
Probably not.
These days, yeah.
Yeah, I did that when I grew up. Why you teach me? Why you test me that way? I feel miserable the test, but I'm still gonna try to teach her. Right? So, okay. Why am I feel miserable? Why you test me like that? Interesting enough, my teachers, they begin to like me on that. They're like waiting. Oh, wow. Okay, you really want to know? They spend a lot of time to tell me why they test me in such a way. I become a friend with my history teacher. Let me tell a story. Okay, my history teacher is worst street guy. So it's worst. So when I get into high school, my score was pretty high. I'm number one in the whole county. So number one in the whole school. So and pretty good. Beating that test. Then I begin to drift away. I like a poem, like all kind of things, so I just don't listen to the class. I don't want to study. So, and then I assigned to a different class. Now the history teacher comes. That's exactly my history teacher. So he began to test me, to the blackboard, about 60 to 80 students in the classroom, and I'm number one. Number one, they have a list, right? You're gonna be number one, you're number one. So I'm the first one. So answer this question, answer this information. I'm telling my story a little bit. You stand there, it'll be hard. So stand there. So he began the next time he do it again. And then, okay, I'm really upset with the history teacher not saying this. I was upset. He began to sort me out and said, hey, he began to become very loud. Himself began to get upset. So said, so this is your number one? In front of all the class, right? So he's knows nothing. I don't know how you gotta get a number one here. So this is your number one. You bunch of idiots, basically. So I do feel like an idiot, And so okay, came back. You come back to the classroom. Come to me. Talk to me. My office. But boom, went to his office. And said, okay, I'm sorry. What happened to you? Why you don't study? He knows the problem, right? The teacher knows what's the real problem with the students. I know what the problem is, you guys. I'm not studying, so you make sure you study, or else I'm gonna call you every time. Okay, I promise you I will study. Someone on the hook. Hello. They said, how about they give me 3 or 4 months? Yeah. Okay. Well, that teacher changed my whole student life. Before that, I was drifting. I don't care. So now, he ought to not be called out. I had to go to the blackboard. Kind of humility. I said, okay, I got to remember everything. I got to study. I don't like it. But I know he's very kind to me. He's not trying to harm me. So I know I was a miserable student. So and not spend time to learn what need to learn. So I said, I feel thank him for disciplining me first. I don't like it, but I said, I just never learn. I'm so sorry I waste my time. But I promise you, I'm going to work on this subject very well. I'm going to spend a lot of time in it. I said, okay, we'll say. And he began to not call me humiliated at all. He just give me time to catch up, right? So one day he said, it's time. You ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready. And then he began to do things. I answered about half of them. He said, well, I have never seen a good student like him. I really like this guy. He tells every student, right? What? So I said, well, I thought I failed the test, So he said, he studied too hard. He knows nothing beginning, and now he knows most of the things are better than you guys. Most of you guys. Oh, that's very encouraging, So then we have an official test now, rather than quiz. So finally, the official test came out. Again, I feel miserable. But I'm interested to learn the subject now. So I said, well, obviously I don't understand the test very well, because I can't really pay attention to what I read. My young mind was so undisciplined in reading. I don't pay attention to the information or the parts of the information what I read. I read one chapter, one book. It's okay, I remember that, but I really don't remember the thing, the major details. Okay, I just don't remember. It's only read the word on the pages. So I said, oh, that doesn't help, because when they test me, that's what they test. They test why that chapter was given, some major details, which major events in history. And when I read history, I don't pay attention to that. I just hear glide over, So I said, there is a terribly misalignment here. I study very hard, but I'm not meeting the test. So what's going on here? So I went to my teacher. Yeah, I went to my teacher. I said, okay, do you guys teach the book differently? Because the same textbook, I just don't understand how I'm being tested. I don't understand why you pile the information like that. He said, you really want to know? Yeah. So he spent about 1 or 2 hours, I don't remember, to tell me the teachers, they have different manual, and they teach the history differently. They have a way of teaching history, the whole framework. And said, really? Can you give me your book? The teacher's book. Oh, that's not for students. We're telling not to give students. So I began to start begging them, please, listen to me for a few days. So let me see what it look like. At least have a glimpse of what are you guys teaching about. So he did. In the book, I suddenly recognize the teacher's approach history totally than the student. I'm just receiving information, try to go through the classes. They actually have a systematic way to present the story, present the teachings, and they have actual curriculum informations, actual curriculum materials. Those days were hard to get materials, So, it's not on the book, So I begin to pay attention to learn history. That's where my interest in history started, because I know history. There's so much information. So outside, this is what in the textbook nobody students know. It's very interesting to me. When I share with you 2 things, carry away. One, a very straightforward teacher, not necessarily treat me nice, but actually he care about me very much. He didn't want me a drifting student. He know how potentials. He want to dig that potential out of me in his way. And not necessarily appreciated at that time by your mind, but later on I begin to look back right now. I can share the story with you. He changed the way how I study things. The second is that he introduced me to have a hobby in history. Is that amazing? Yeah. Now we want to pray for us.
Yes, Lord, I just thank you, Lord, for your love for us. Lord, for your deep desire for your people. Lord, for their growth, Lord, in life. Lord, I pray that we would, Lord, just continue to seek out your will, Lord, in what we do, Lord, in the way we live out our life, Lord, with others around us, friends and family, Lord, Lord, that we would be a good example to others, Lord, a light. Lord, I just thank you for the lessons learned, Lord, here, Lord, by Emmanuel. Lord, his heart, Lord, to, Lord, not only serve you, Lord, but to serve us, Lord. Lord, I thank you for just the things that we are able to learn on these days, Lord. Lord, I pray that we would never take it for granted. Lord, that we would honor and respect, Lord, the ones who take the time out of their lives to teach us. Lord, that we would honor and respect each other, Lord, and put others before ourselves. Lord, I just thank you, Lord, for each one here, Lord, each heart, Lord, ready to learn, Lord, from you. Lord, I pray that we would continue to seek out your heart and your love, Lord. And I pray this in your name. Amen.
The Rise of Bonaparte. I like this chapter. Know a little bit about Napoleon's life. And anybody knows Napoleon? Tell me, who knows Napoleon?
Napoleon
I
Dynamite.
think I've heard of the name, but I don't think I've ever read the story.
I don't think I've studied this.
Heard of,
yet.
and heard of Napoleon?
It kind of sounds familiar in history, but I don't remember.
Which nation from? Which nation from?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
It's British. Good point.
Oh, yeah.
He said he read this book before.
Oh, yeah.
He's,
I think we all. I don't think I've
I'll
had.
be right back.
I don't think
I'm
I've gotten this far.
hurry up. No, that's fine. Yeah. Well, let's look at the map first.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can see the ocean in the middle. And this map is Benjamin. Benjamin, am I right? Benjamin.
yeah.
Benjamin. Sorry for that.
No
So,
worries.
yeah. Give me some time to get used to your name.
Yeah, no, right. You can call me.
And Atlantic Ocean, right? So, okay. Found Portugal for me. Portugal.
Right
Portugal,
there.
yeah.
Is
From, where's Spain, man? Where's
Right
Spain?
there.
yeah, terrible. Okay. Where's Italy? Where's Italy?
A
little
little boot. Yeah.
Got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the French? Where's the France?
France.
Oh, France is north of Spain, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if I'm gonna make a question for you, test you in geography, like you learn geography, test you, and I say, okay, is Portugal is a neighbor to France or not?
Yeah. No.
I don't think so.
No. No. It's
Yeah.
close, but it's not neighbor.
Not neighbor. Right, neighbor means they have
You're
a
right next to each
other.
Exactly. Okay.
So Spain.
See,
Spain
see,
is a neighbor.
yeah,
Spain is a
yeah,
neighbor.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay, is America a neighbor of Russia or not?
No. Is what?
Which Russia?
A neighbor of
You would think
America?
America and Russia totally set apart, right? Is Russian a neighbor of America?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's right top.
Top what? which part top? Alaska, am I right? Alaska, am I right? So, yeah. It's interesting, huh?
I need to do some more.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
neighbor because they just Alaska is the same, almost the same side, same what is it called? You know, I forgot the name. So yeah, latitudes, whatever. So those questions, am I right? So okay, Vienna. Esther found Vienna for us.
Right next to the Austrian Empire.
Yeah. So what Vienna is famous for? In culture. there's the capital of music, right? Classical music, right?
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know that? Famous for, especially their, the kind of old dancing, dancing music. You guys learn dancing, right?
Yeah.
Dance with certain music. That's kind of tradition from there. So, okay. Ottoman Empire. We learned a bit of Ottoman. I'm sorry. The Ottoman Empire. So yeah. Oh, you don't have the book? You guys use the same book. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I should get a book.
You should a book. That's not expensive. Get
Yeah.
a copy. 29th chapter. Let's start reading. I know my time is limited. Sorry for that. So, but we're going to finish the chapter. Try to. Okay. Let's finish one part. Is that okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Just the one part.
The first part.
Oh yeah.
Okay. A list. Okay, I want somebody to read word fast. Who is a fast reader for me? Okay, let me do a trial run for you guys so you understand how fast you can do.
Okay.
I'm not good English reader, but I can be fast a little bit. Better than. Huh? I'm joking. Okay. 29th chapter, chapter 29, the rise of Bonaparte. Napoleon comes to power. While the British king and the Chinese emperor exchanged letters, the country without a king found itself ruled by a dictator. After Robespierre was sent to the guillotine, the National Convention of France gave up on making France into a country governed by all of its people. The revolution had removed the king and gotten rid of aristocrats, but it has also thrown the country into bloody years of war. Instead, the National Convention made France into a oligarchy. Oligarchy is a form of a government. Oligarchy, democracy, oligarchy, stuff like that. Okay, so aristocracy, a country where only some of the citizens have power to rule. All soldiers, all Frenchmen who owned a certain amount of land were allowed to vote for leaders. These leaders were put into two houses, like the American Senate and the House of Representatives. In France, those houses were called the Council of Asians and the Council of 500. Okay. Together, the two houses choose 5 men to belong to a committee called Directory. The Directory ruled France. The Directory first job to protect France from the country of Austria. I want to tell you something. I really appreciate you guys pay a lot of time to learn history, which you don't really have to. And you feel test. I'm not upset with you guys, but I do want you to learn. We have to learn life and how to interact with each other in the proper way. I'm making sense to you guys? Yeah. Okay. So, which has declared war on France during the revolution, was still trying to invade it. The Directory needed one of France's general to lead the French army in attack on Austria. Austria. You know Austria a little bit, am I right? So, okay. The general to choose named Napoleon Bonaparte. Now that is Bonaparte. Yeah, they do call it Bonaparte. You can watch if you listen to the maybe watch or read the famous work by Tolstoy, right? So he said, "Oh, Bonaparte started with Bonaparte." So think he's Antichrist, Anyways, now you understand. You this is how you read and learn things can correlate. Saying Bonaparte gets backdrop of that history, right? And novels. So now you think, oh, I want to know a little bit about history so I can understand that novel, right? So making sense to you. So, okay, Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte and already learned the name for himself. Several years before, Robespierre sent Napoleon to round up 100 Frenchmen loyal to the king in the south of France. Then Robespierre ordered all of them all killed. So Napoleon turns the canons. He is a captain of a canon. Basically a reef for soldiers, am I right? He's a captain for them. So. Those days they don't have cannon, so cannon is the most important artillery in the army.
Cannon?
Okay. Cannon. I'm sorry, cannon. Yeah, that's right, cannon. So, yeah. And then, guillotined the rest. If a man has to take sides in such a battle, he told his brother later, he might as well take the victorious side. It is better to eat than to be eaten. Napoleon Bonaparte would do anything to be on the victorious side. He was one of the greatest generals in human history. Okay, when he got his orders from the Directory, I used to study the words. Yeah, he wrote his own words. He write every detail like Caesar did, you know. So Julius Caesar write his own words, his own campaigns. So I read most part of it, Napoleon's words. Napoleon marched his army down to Italy, and then time Italy was a whole collection of 4 separate little states, and Austria controlled most of the northern part, about close to France. If the French army could drive the Austrian back, French border would be safe. Okay, when I stopped, Esther going to pick up very fast. Okay, so Napoleon troops were sick of fighting. They were hungry or ran. The salary hadn't been paid for months. They muttered and complained. They wanted to go home. But Napoleon was ready to whip out their fighting spirits. Soldiers, he cried, you are hungry and naked, but you are going to rich towns where you will find honor, glory, and wealth. Be courageous, and you will have these things. Filled with the vision of untold wealth, the soldiers followed Napoleon into battle. The Austrians were forced to retreat. Napoleon took control of North Italy and announced that all Italian people, the French had come to set them free from the Austrian captors. We come to break your chains, he shouted. We have quarrels only with our tyrants who have been holding captive. Then Napoleon ordered all of Italians green paintings, the statues sent back to France to be put into the Louvre in Paris. That's the greatest art gallery, or if you will, museum right now, right? So, many great Italian works of art are still in Paris today. Napoleon also announced that he respected the Catholic Church, would not rob any church, but he would take their gold, silver vessels, and the priceless paintings and keep them safe. Pembroke said then that Italy saying became common. Not all Frenchmen are robbers, but a good many sure are. And then Napoleon led the French army on towards Vienna, the capital of Austria. Vienna stood against the Turks, but the Austrians did not think they could beat back Napoleon. They gave him the countries of Belgium and Lombardy, and swore a peace treaty with him. Belgium is a nation on the sea.
Belgium?
Belgium. It's a city.
That's a nation.
It's a nation, right? So, well, Beijing has been there, I think. If you went to Spain, yeah, you traveled to Europe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Napoleon marched home in triumph. He was invited to parties, to feasts, parades, and ceremonies. He insisted that he had to act only for the good of France, his government, but to his close friends, he scoffed. I am but at the opening of my career. Do you suppose that I gained my victories in Italy in order to advance the lawyers of the Directory? So he was not happy with the government, right? So, with a pace no lesser than my pace.
I don't know about that. The 5 members of the Directory knew perfectly well that Napoleon wanted power for himself. So they told him that the next task was to invade Great Britain. Napoleon knew that invading Great Britain was the best possible way to get himself killed. Britain had the strongest navy in the world, and the French army was weak and tired. He suggested that it would be better to invade Egypt. After all, the Turks who ruled Egypt had never been friends of France. The Directory agreed. Egypt was far away from France, so Napoleon would be gone a long time. Napoleon's men sailed down to Egypt. Meanwhile, the admiral of the English Navy, Admiral Corliss, heading off to attack something. He sailed through the Mediterranean looking for Napoleon. He wanted to make sure that the French weren't attacking the English colonies or possessions. Meanwhile, Napoleon landed in Egypt and invaded the cities of Alexandria and
Cairo.
Cairo.
Cairo, that is the capital city. Andra means a port city, yeah, of Egypt. Yeah.
I've come to restore your rights and fight against the Turks who hold you captive, he told the Egyptians. I respect Muhammad and the Quran far more than they ever did. But Napoleon didn't have much time to enjoy his victory. The British Navy finally caught up with him. The two navies fought. At this battle of the Nile, most of Napoleon's ships were captured. Napoleon left his soldiers behind, boarded a small ship, which sneaked past the British.
That's
Navy
very
in a
funny.
shipwreck.
That's very funny. Yes, sorry.
A small ship. Mediterranean fought and sailed back to France. When Napoleon returned to Paris, the French, who weren't really sure what had happened to Egypt, again hailed him as a hero. Napoleon was ready to take control.
So he lost the battle actually, yeah. Sneaky back. Yeah. What a tricky guy, right?
Yeah.
With armed soldiers behind him waving their bayonets, Napoleon
Bayonets.
Bayonets.
Yeah, bayonets. Yeah.
Napoleon marched into the Council of Ancients and announced that the director is now too weak to protect France. Seeing all the bayonets, the Council of Ancients agreed quickly to remove the director and place it with 3 councils, just as in ancient Rome. Of course, one of the councils was Napoleon himself, and it wasn't too long before Napoleon became the only council of France. Some French citizens knew that they had exchanged a king for a dictator who would use his soldiers to do exactly as he pleased. But France had been torn by war, bloodshed, and suspicion for so long that French were simply grateful that someone was going to bring some order into chaos. Napoleon himself believed that the French would give him power as long as he gave them safety, strength, and enough to eat. A republic, he remarked to his friends. What a notion. The French were
Infatuated. Infatuated means engrossed in, super interested in something, yeah, passionate about something. Yeah.
with the idea of liberty, but it will pass away in time. What they want is glory and the gratification of their vanity. As for liberty, of what they have no conception.
Huh. That is true insight, actually. Huh?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what liberty is?
Not anymore.
That's terrible. Yeah. Okay. Benji, why don't you pray for us and so wrap it up. So.
Lord Jesus, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the group that I get to learn with. I thank you for everyone that's here, and I pray that you would just help us to learn and to listen and to just hear your voice, Lord. And I pray that you would bless the rest of this day and help us to be respectful. Thank you for Emmanuel, and that he takes time out of his day to teach us every time, and that he is patient and wants to help us to learn. And I pray they would just give us...
I don't feel I'm myself very patient.
I thank you for everything, Lord, that you give us. In your precious name I pray.
You guys really good students, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Bunch of good students, yeah. Okay, with the test, you're Dan and Noah and I had some conversation.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the form was inherited by the textbook they gave us. There's a text they lay out for us. There's a format that basically inherited. Last time, Noah was don't have the textbook, so he was not able to produce a test. So that's why I follow the former format and go along with it. But I did want you guys to express yourself. You seems to have some, learn some historical insights, whatever, apply your mind to the thing you learned. That's why I did the last question a little bit essay. So, we'll, want you to basically express the thing design, and right? So, me unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
But the design, you see, the last 5 chapters was major theme was the American Revolution and the French Revolution. it's a good thing to read more extensively, so this nation, so French is a major nation as well. So as I said, this is a landmark events in human history, especially for European history. French Revolution is a watershed event. Okay, things begin to change. So it's good to know more. Wikipedia is a good thing for you to. You don't have to read everything, but at least I will read the key points there, right? So yeah. Well, the coming up is that after we taught the 5 chapters with 29 half into it. Next time we're going to read about 30 chapter. So we're going to have another test. And that test we can design by Noah. I'm not sure how he's going to design it. So I will try to work with him, but I'm also going to try to see have an essay about something. Okay, so well, little bit of essay. So well, basically.